One of the things you do when you lose somebody, you look back and you think, did we do the right things? Was I always, there's always, doesn't matter what you've done, there's always an element of sort of guilt that you weren't there, didn't do. Jimmy was a wonderful man, a great husband, a really loving father. He absolutely adored his sons. In fact, I think that was one of the best things of all in his life, was his two lads. We always used to joke that we got together to save another couple. Great fun. I mean, we had our arguments. I don't ever believe anyone says, we never argued. We used to have some really good ones or bad ones, but we were together for over 40 years, so it says something. He loved sailing, and he trained as a OA dinghy instructor, so they could teach at our local youth sailing club. He was almost as happy on the water as anywhere else. It was such a sadness that when he developed pulmonary fibrosis and then later lung cancer, that joy was taken away from him because he was no longer able to sail. Well, following the first operation, I mean, this had all taken from, it was January 2016 when he'd had the CT scan had shown the issue. April was when they took the first part away, but microscopic cells was seen at the margin. So his oncologist decided that he ought to have a sleeve resection, which meant another operation, not keyhole this time, full open thoracotomy. And following that, he had adjuvant chemotherapies. I think he had at least 3 rounds of chemo, which he came through really well. He didn't suffer very much at all, but by the following January, February, he was noticing that he wasn't swallowing very well. And a follow-up appointment with his oncologist, she suggested that they did an endoscopy, and that confirmed that there was another tumour in a lymph node behind the esophagus. End of March, beginning of April, he commenced 4 weeks of radiotherapy with concurrent chemotherapy. We managed to get a holiday. We went to Italy for a week, came back, and he was noticing he wasn't walking very well. He thought he'd perhaps strained something, pulled something. Went for the follow-up scan from the radiotherapy before his next appointment with the oncologist, and we were called straight in to see a different oncologist because his was on holiday, and they said that the cancer was spreading, and what was causing him to have difficulty walking was a tumour that had virtually eaten away his left femur. That day when we sat there, and she said that she couldn't offer any further treatment, Jimmy asked her, "How long have I got?" It's a question not everybody wants to ask, and not everybody wants to know, and doctors won't just come out and say, "Oh, by the way, we can't do anything more, you've got X amount of time left." She actually asked him 3 times if he really wanted to know before she would tell him, and she said it would be months, not years. The worst thing I think for him was walking out of the consultation having been told that there was nothing more she could do and that it would be palliative care. It was frightening. It was worrying. At that point, we thought there's months, but we didn't realise how fast things would go. Within a matter of no time at all, he needed to be on oxygen because he was struggling to breathe. It was very traumatic at the time because we weren't expecting this to happen then. We weren't quite ready. I mean, nobody's ever ready, but when you think you've got months and then suddenly it's weeks. I'd managed to contact my older son. It was earlier in the day before we even knew. I knew Jimmy was now seriously ill, that maybe he wouldn't leave hospital. but I didn't know it was so imminent. And I just said to Tom, I don't know how you do it. Get hold of your brother. Get here. Just get here. And wonderfully, he managed to contact his brother. They both work in London, but he contacted his brother. They were on a train within an hour, and we kept in touch by phone, or sort of WhatsApping. And they got to the station, got a taxi to the hospital, and it was in that short time between the station and the hospital they lost their dad. There were some days, particularly around our wedding anniversary, which fell just over a month ago, just in the middle of all of this, when I did feel very low. I had days where I just wept. But I've come through it, smiling again now. It's helped me now to have some time for me, time to actually grieve, which everybody's going to do that in their own way. Some people do it straight away. Some people, there's a kind of delay factor. I did start getting more involved with the Roy Castle Lung Cancer Foundation early last year, because you have all been so very supportive of me, even after I lost Jimmy. And that's the great thing. The foundation is there for everybody, be they the person with the illness, or the family or friends caring.